Let me go. Sure.
Kish,
My G,
am I alone here, bro?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Can I watch that later?
seems I'm alone here. Let's see.
Nah,
Uh,
there are six other persons, or five.
I thought this was inclusive, my guy. Yeah,
We can have another one.
yeah,
I didn't do any calls all the days I was doing prep for the event. And yesterday was the event, so I didn't do any calls. So just gonna
yeah.
quick catch up and then they're all joined and then sometime either today or tomorrow morning we could have a chat, my G.
Of course. Yesterday was wild, bro. As soon as the Powell said good afternoon, good morning, Nasdaq said, "Nah, bro,
Standard.
we flying out here." Yeah,
Standard. Um, let me start. Sorry, I haven't done a review like this in a while. So let me start with the charts that we're familiar with and work our way from there. So, good morning, everyone. This is a makeup call since I missed 2 or 3 days of the live calls due to a fundraiser I was hosting. And yeah, just want to check in, share my thoughts, and prepare for next week. It might not be a long one, but next week, we should Monday, Tuesday. Wait, yeah. Thursday, there might not be a call on Thursday because I need to have oh, I have an appointment on Thursday I need to get. Next week, Saturday, I won't promise any reviews because I don't remember if I mentioned this publicly. My spouse's birthday is on the 30th, so we will be heading to DR. So let's go. Um, pretty much standard so far. We're looking at Nasdaq and Bitcoin correlation. We're looking at the breakdown that we wanted to trade. The last thing that played nicely is we want to see Tuesday close below the mitigation level to allow for shorts at the mitigation level. Remember that? But then that day was just spectacular, for lack of a better word. About 300 points. So we did not get to short here. Well, I did not get to short here. I was looking for longs to sweep this at the very least. So let me put this as internal buy side. Internal VSL. For those of you who have seen my sell limit, sell limit at pretty close to Friday's high with TP either here or somewhere in here. I think it was here, and TP got hit, but entry didn't get hit. So much fun one to watch. And then we had all this big upthrust, which is pretty much right back in this candle, which I don't find surprising. Again, the analysis was where we wanted to sell there. So automatically, for me, without seeing what next week has to offer, my game plan is I'm looking to see the market trade back up to here, minimum. Best case scenario, something wild to sweep these and then lower prices. How am I going to plan this Sunday evening? Because I will check when the market opens. Look at where Friday closes. Bitcoin is trading down now. If Bitcoin stays below Friday's closing price significantly, Nasdaq will gap down. That's my theory based on correlation. Weekends where Bitcoin is very far from its Friday closing price, Nasdaq tends to gap in that direction as well. If Bitcoin does a lot of damage and then comes back, then Bitcoin has the opposite. If Bitcoin has a whole lot of movement on the weekend and it goes back and forth, Bitcoin, the Nasdaq will open and fill its gap. But it's a working theory. It's no secret information. It's a working theory that data is showing me. But I need more before I feel confident trading it. For now, it's just something cute to watch. So yeah, looking for Nasdaq to sweep internal liquidity, which means I want Bitcoin to find support here and then rally. One thing I found cute is I thought Nasdaq would stop here at the lows here because this is a higher low and this is not a higher low. But he traded all the way down to the open price of Wednesday, August 6th and stopped. So I just looked at what's the correlation here. And Nasdaq and Bitcoin swept the low of Wednesday, August 6th instead. So again, working theory. 3-bar low here. Nasdaq trades to open. 3-bar low here. Bitcoin trades to the low. Might sound like mumbo jumbo to you, but if you look at the structure of the low here, you can see that August the 6th was not the lowest low in here, but it was for Nasdaq. But anyway, it's a working theory. No need to stress it. Standard game plan. Calendar settings, we have next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday higher. If I'm calling a weekly profile, it would be TGI Friday. One-sided bullish weeks with small range or small bodies, and then Friday crashes. So this is just a game plan. This is not an analysis yet. Let's say Bitcoin stays lower and causes Nasdaq to gap down. And I want to see, up to here, and either Thursday or Wednesday high of the week, and then it tanks. After tanking, I'm looking at August 1st low, or essentially the low of this box here. Bitcoin has already taken it. Okay. So looking for Nasdaq to do the same. Gold and oil still off my radar, primarily because I didn't get the CSD from oil I wanted. I don't know what it looks like now. I don't know where it is. I didn't get the CSD from oil I wanted, so automatically it's off my radar. I'm not going to trade what I see. I'm going to trade my plan. And then for gold, I believe it was still in a range. Yeah, so still nothing significant happening. Range printed, another range printed, and it's just back and forth inside there. So lower time frame should be fun, but higher time frame is not saying this is a market I should be wanting to participate in. So there you go. I should, but I haven't yet, make a version of an indicator that I'll either share on Patreon or use on the calls, make the analysis easier. We've done like 3 weeks now, same process. 1, 2, 3. 3 weeks now, same process. So you should be familiar with what we do. So you look at the indicator, it should be a breeze. Thank you. So jumping right into some analysis, I'm gonna go straight to the M4. And I'm going to analyze Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So feel free to add your questions, comments, outbursts. Oh, I did not share this with my guys. There we go. So I'm going to start the entire analysis with Wednesday's 2 p.m. Since those are the 3 days I missed. I'm going to treat it. I'm going to treat it. It is not, but I'm going to treat it with the same sentiment as I treat a weekly open price. This is to show you how fractal concepts and understanding is. Wednesday 2 a.m. See, my bad. Old age, guys, old age. So if I'm looking at Wednesday's delivery, it should be Tuesday's 2 p.m. There we go. So again, I'm going to treat that in the same way I treat a weekly open price. So as the market is trading down here, I want Wednesday 7:20 a.m., which is when my trading day begins. Now that I have that, everything else is cakewalk. I can see buy side liquidity since the start of the day. Let's just go here for simplicity. Again, conceptually, I want you to think about the open price at a red line like weekly open. There we go. So now we have our range. So pretty straightforward analysis. If the daily chart was leaving the liquidity untapped, I would be looking for a buy here. Off the top of my head, I would be looking for a buy here. I'd see that we opened the premium. I'd mark 720 is open like this. And I would look at fractal days in here to see if they had enough confluence to tell me that we don't need a sell side run, or if we had untapped sell side liquidity that I could use for my entries. Sell side, buy side. Once the market fails to go here and trades down, then off the top of my head, I'd be looking for buys below here. No CSD. If there's no CSD as the market is trading through the current daily low, so write this down. If there's no clear CSD when the market is trading through obvious sell side liquidity or the current daily low or current daily high, and you don't get that CSD, try to trade after 10 a.m. and look for a reversal. Full stop. No why, no nothing. 9 times out of 10, if there is an obvious pool of sell side liquidity and you try to pick the bottom after this is taken, the current daily low, before 10 a.m., you're likely to get hurt. This is not anything outside of what experience has taught me. So if you can suspend your desire to participate until 10 a.m., you're likely going to have a much better day. There we go. So for the beauty, I'm going to move this to 10 a.m. And then I'm going to say, if when you started trading at 7:20, you're looking left like this, when you start trading at 10 a.m., you're going to do the same thing. The difference between this and like no, let me not say that. At 10 a.m., you'd find current low, current high still. But you can see here how we had a rundown, then a sweep, which automatically means one of two things. Either this is a day purging the low, and I mean like previous day's low, or in terms of fractal days, if you understand the idea. Or, I'm getting tongue-tied. Let me draw something. I didn't prepare enough. I just got to. Why not do a review? Sure, why not? So look at, if you understand the purge and revert, and if you don't, I've said it a million times, go watch the purge and revert video. Let's say this here is sell-side liquidity. Particularly previous day sell-side liquidity. So we know if the day opens and trades down, let's say that's the high of the day. Purge and revert theory says once you get above the high of that day, that's your revert, you buy a retracement. Game over. But as a scalper, I have studied how this happens and how I can trade this run and created my own version, not a rebranding, but my own interpretation of the concept itself. So what I like to do is, if there is liquidity and I have a day or a cycle, because I know people still play with 90-minute cycles. If I have a day or a cycle and it opens and we trade down and sweep that sell side, I'm looking for the next time we close above that. And I use that as my air quotes, right? Air quotes, revert. So when that happens, I look to buy below open prices. If this is the open price of the day, I'm looking for a retracement. And I'm trying to go higher. And I can apply the same logic of 3-day look back, or I can look for logical pools of buy-side liquidity. Full stop. If you don't know cyclical open prices, that is fine. It's just an element of precision. The concept itself is way more powerful. So what you do, before I clear the drawings, since you know there's going to be a mile marker that's traded above and then pull back, and since you're trading lower time frames, you're looking for close above a particular open price and pull back. All you're going to do is look for that type of delivery. You're essentially trying to get in here. I cannot tell you what is going to be inside this run that you're going to use, but we're smart people. We can figure that out. Optimal trade entry. Anything. Something should be there. First thing you look for is the open price itself. And then after that, it's like a hierarchy. Open prices of the day that did the purge, if we close above, previous day's high, imbalances, support structure. That's it. So just eyeballing this, right? If 10 a.m. starts a new day, okay, because we're talking concepts. If 10 a.m. starts a new day, 10 a.m. is not doing the purge. Because if 10 a.m. did the purge, we would need 10 a.m. to open, go below the lows before 10 a.m., snap back and close above 10 a.m., then support. Think. This is how you trade 720 open as well. If you have 720 purge in liquidity, close below, and you've seen me trade that quite a few times. Now you know why. In the hierarchy, I can't use a close above 720 open, 10 o'clock open, because we didn't go lower. So you look left. This is a high, right? And it's a high before 10 a.m. and it's the most recent one. Can I use that? Again, conceptually, I don't need to tell you anything outside the fact that there's a hierarchy. What you look for first, second, or third. What you look for may not be there, but it will still tell you what to give importance to. Since this didn't open and trade lower, I know the importance is going to be from a high or an open price over here. But without trying to be specific and get the idea itself across. When you trade above this, FEG, if this high was lower than this one, I would use this FEG. But because this high is higher than this one, I would use the FEG that forms at this high. Support, long. Target, same thing. If this low is lower than this, you want to use the FEG that forms here. If this low is higher than this, you want to use the FEG that forms here. Hey, Ben, I'm good. Just a rough week, but well, not a rough week. Rough couple days event planning. So again, since this is lower, there's your FEG. The day end somewhere inside here. But please argue with me and tell me that this is madness. So I don't remember what I did Wednesday. I think I went in with a plan to buy, and I think I took a loss, and I walked away, and I think I was driving, so I didn't get this. Either that or I took some losses in here. One of the above. Don't remember exactly right now. But this would have been Wednesday. So if you can replicate the analysis, or if ICT allows, pause the video right here. And that's how I would have traded this if I was focused and had my charts in the zone. So now we go into the next day. I don't want to take all the analysis off because I'm going to need the buy side liquidity pool. Not because hindsight we know the market traded above that, but because it's untapped sell side liquidity, untapped buy side liquidity. So why would you not want to know where that is, even if you're trading in a bearish market? I don't want to sell that. Previous day's high and intact. I don't want this low, but if it gets there, then it gets there. Because this is a purge. Inside here would have been much better. Nonetheless, I'm not going to bring any attention to previous day 720 and anything like that. Satisfy your own curiosity if you want to do that. So we have Wednesdays 2 p.m. and Thursdays 720. There we go. So you would have seen that overnight, between all of this, there would be untapped buy side liquidity for 720, untapped 2 p.m. So at 720, you're seeing that we just hit that level. What does the good book say about the first delivery to the level? Let me sip a couple. Nobody knows. First, the first run to the key level is where your PD array will form. What does that mean? Not a rhetorical question. If I say to you, if you have a key level, the first run to the key level is going to set the stage for where the PD array forms, what would that mean to you? With science. You guys are way too shy. Wait for the PD array to print before. I mean, right? Right. That's it, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you. So that says if you have a level and the market does this and it pulls back, it does not mean sell the order block here, put your stop here. Like so much persons dream of. And that's going to happen next. No. You pull that out. and then you look for taking that delivery, create your PDRA into your key level, and you trade this. Boom. Simple. So if we're at 720, and that's our level, what does it say about this low? Exactly what? You want your race to form there. So, clearing the drawings up. If I want my feed areas to form here, what does it say about this order, this very, very small down candle? Not convincing enough to be an order block, but rules say I can get away with trading that. We're not even going to talk about failed expansion order block, but because you can see that. I'm talking about the rules that keep you in check. 143 all the way up to equities open, or that probably 80 points before. It's a trade. And then you got stopped out, depending on where your stop was for this one. All right, it comes again. A whole lot of volatility at the lows. Big down candle, displacement, break a high. If you have this, and this breaks the high, good morning. This is not your buy. Why is that not your buy? Because this is not your order block. Your order block is all the way down here. So would you buy this? I'd consider it. Would you buy this? Without a doubt. 60, 40 points. There we go. So it doesn't sound fun, but there are rules for me as to what gives strength to a particular delivery, and that's what I trade. So I'd probably take longs here, tag the break even, depending on what I'm doing. This could have been a loss. I don't mind this being a loss. I don't need to explain, but this would have been a wick out, or this would have, you don't need to explain any of that. You just need to make sure that those are not big losses taking half of your account. That's all. Know how to lose. That's it. End your day. It's a small winning day, no big deal. The buy side liquidity is still untapped. Sell side liquidity is swept. Wouldn't these be your focus? And this high here? So you're going into the Friday bullish. Same thing. Thursday 2 p.m. There is no grand explanation or magic to any of this. I'm not going to talk about correlations between previous days levels either. Again, I'm leaving that exclusively to you and your journal. You should be able to do that on your own. 7:20, Friday. These levels are. We're going to discuss them. We're going to talk about these. At 7:20, we can see previous days 2 p.m. has been traded to, and we can see all of that big push. Again, if you're looking for purge and revert, you're looking for hierarchy. Since I don't trade inside this window of time, I don't talk about this window of time. But you can see that this big push down swept this low. So if this is the run to the level, and this is the PDRA, no extra charge. This is where your order block starts. So if the market expands above here and sweeps that, 95% of persons are looking for all the way back down here to get an entry. Madness. Absolute madness. Without trying to analyze, just look at the analysis itself. Doesn't it point to what you should be looking for? If you missed this because you were scared, would you miss this? Of course not. Now, would you be surprised if I went long here? Of course not. And I exited here? Of course not. And then I went long here, and I exited here. There's no surprise in that. It's the same stuff. But why are you going long here, Kishen? Because the buy side liquidity, which is at the daily high that did not get taken, plus the mitigation level, they're still above me. So I will be looking for longs until those get hit, so I can get a beautiful short. Amen. So, without making this long and wordy, it is simple. It's the same simple processes. And at no extra charge. Remember those drawings I did earlier? Let me see if I can undo and find them. Not that. Remember this? Let me move. I can't move the charts when I'm in annotate. If this is 720 here, and the market's going down after 720, and then it does this and close above 720, and it comes back to 720 open. Rockets. Does it look like this? Of course it does. Is it the exact fractal? Nope. I can't predict every fractal. I just have a list of fractals. What predicts is the process. If you weren't here on that call, process predicts, rules protect. So the process says predict a close above this and a buy set up on it in a retracement. Rules say don't try to buy before you get a close above. Don't try to be, oh, I'm gonna buy here. Because if that happens, then you get screwed. But then if process says we close above, hesitate not. All you need to do here is control risk. You don't need me to tell you how to control risk. Futures guys probably have it worse, but yeah. No tricks, no magic. Same thing. See? Bam, 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 bam. So, because I'm a scalper, that's as much of a review I'd like to offer you. Everything else you should have done or should have been familiar with or should have seen. And if not, you should have asked a question about it. So, if there are no questions, I'm seeing the chat. Know how to lose. Yeah, you have to know how to lose. Everybody knows how to win. You know, just close it in green, blue. Know how to lose. The first thing you have to know about how to lose is the markets will be open tomorrow. And if tomorrow is a holiday, it will be open the next day. And if tomorrow is a weekend, it will be open 2 days from now. So you can, forget about the stupid stuff. You can walk away with a single, 2, 3, 4, your choice. A couple small losses and come back today and make it back because you've done it before. You've ended your day because you didn't want to hit max loss or take too much losses. Then you came back and you made it back. So if you know you can do that, why are you walking the path of the famous last word users where you're down 3% and all you think about is getting back to break even? Shots fired. But yeah, last thing in this game requires knowing how to lose. I took losses Wednesday and I walked away. I didn't get a chance to do much on Thursday, but my day Thursday also started with a loss. I was multitasking. Friday, I had a beautiful trade here, and I had another beautiful trade here. This missed my break even by like half a tick or something like that. Didn't matter to me. I have runners from here, I have runners from here, and I have it set to the mitigation open price. And I feel like I'm going to open the chart Sunday night and it's going to be a stop out because of what Bitcoin is doing. It could be a top down. And I'm okay with that. I am 100% okay with it because I know how to lose. But yeah, use the weekend, put some questions together. I'm in the middle of wrapping up the fundraiser stuff over the weekend. Next week is going to be prep for the trip, so I might be in and out of the space. But if you tag me or if you leave stuff there, I will see it. So, when will this be uploaded? Well, I mean, when I end the call now, it's going to get converted and Zoom will do what it does, and then I'll upload it. I won't be online a lot to talk today, but I'll upload this as soon as I can. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's as simple as your review needs to be. You know exactly what the rules are that I use to put the analysis on. You know that there are gaps in your understanding because you either don't understand the purge and revert, or you don't understand something I said. But there are materials that you can study and stop trying to find entries, and you'll be better. But we have one more week in August left. I hope I at least help somebody to not quit in August. And yeah, like and subscribe. You know, the good stuff. Thank you for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you on Monday.